Welcome, everybody. My name is Teri, and this is my good friend, Dr. Gail, Skywalking with Moon. How are
Hi,
you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Terry?
Good. Today is the day I pretend that I don't know you.
I know. I thought that was funny. That's what she said when we were going on there. I'm gonna pretend like I don't know you, and I'm like, yeah, really.
So, and this is for Galactic Gaia and our healing channel, and we bring on other healers and ourselves and talk about what we do. And this is we want this to be kind of a framework for people to come to if they're looking for questions about how they channel or how they heal people, and how you can look for people that would help you if you're looking for a healer. So everybody's so different, aren't they?
Right. And we have a nice lineup coming up where we have Mary that we're going to be doing her healing techniques, which she's talked about how it's evolved over her time. And we've got Gail Lynn, who created or developed the harmonic egg, with this
Yeah.
cell theory. We got her coming on, and now we've got Hayden Crawford coming on. He's a color therapist, so we're really getting some good lineups here.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good lineups. Really good lineups. And today, the best lineup because it's Dr. Gail.
It's me
So,
today.
so I have a little intro here. Today on Galactic Gaia, I'm joined by Dr. Gail, somebody who truly embodies the bridge between Earth and the cosmos. With a foundation in chiropractic care and surgical nursing, Gail understands the physical form deeply, and through her intuitive work, she helps people integrate higher awareness safely and gently. Our shared work at Solaris Healing Center, excuse me, is about embodiment, belonging, and sustainable healing, not escaping the human experience, but fully inhabiting it. Gail's presence brings clarity, calm, and a deep sense of trust. And I'm excited for this conversation.
Wow, that was impressive.
Yeah, well, you are. You are. So let's talk about. I want to get right down to the flying our freak flag here today, because you pulled something on me when we were talking backstage about the wolf under your bed as a child, and I
Yes,
think it all starts in childhood, doesn't it?
it does start in childhood because there were always beings around me, but the most prominent one that I remember the most was the wolf that lived under my bed.
Yeah.
And the reason I remember that wolf was because he was there to protect me. And I was always afraid when my dad would poke his head in to say goodnight that the wolf would attack him. So I was always concerned about that wolf. And I would tell everybody about the wolf under my bed. And, they would just look at me like I was crazy. But
Right.
to me, that wolf was real. It was real there.
So did you just know he was there? Did you see him? Could you hear him?
I could see him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how old do you think you were when this happened?
It was before I started school, elementary school, so maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, before the constructs of society said you can't see things.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and then you started seeing entities, didn't you? Ghosts or
I knew ghosts. Yeah, I could see ghosts. People had passed away. Excuse me. Actually, I didn't see them at first more than smell them. My smell, I could smell them around, and I could feel them around. And um, I, everybody made fun of it. Didn't take me seriously. And so, anyway, yes, but I always would talk about the ghost in this house, the ghost in the house. Be careful, this ghost is a little angry. Be careful of what you do around this one. Yeah.
I love this. Do you feel like being from the South that was more accepted? Because when I think of the South, I think of that kind of that it is more accepted in certain parts of the South being
No,
growing up with these things.
no,
No.
it's not accepted at all. They
Oh,
were trying to shut it down. That's why I think made fun of it or dismissed it. I would say is more what was happening.
oh yeah. I'm thinking of probably the olden days when people were more in tune with it. Yeah. It's interesting. So, um, So seeing all these things and then starting to see the extraterrestrials as well.
Right. That didn't start until 2020 when I had my awakening when I went in with COVID. I wasn't taking care of anybody. I retired from nursing. I retired from chiropractic. I just finished taking care of my dad who passed away, that had dementia, and I was on my own. Nobody to take care of it. It was just me and my pets. And I probably was the only person I knew that was excited about this time of being alone, not taking care of anybody. And so I decided to try meditation for the first time. And I called it, let me try this meditation stuff. And so I started that, and I started doing guided meditations, and it just opened my whole world up. And when I started meeting extraterrestrials during that time, I didn't know what they were. I didn't know anything about spiritual awakenings. I was not in the metaphysical world. I kept having to run back and forth with a friend of mine who was metaphysical and ask her what was happening. And she would keep telling me I was okay, because I kept saying my medical background put me at, oh, it has to be a brain tumor. I need an MRI. And she would just laugh at me and tell me I was okay. And, she says, I've known you for 15 years. You're fine. So that's how that went. But it was the first time then that people started taking me seriously.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden people were listening to me.
Yeah, rapidly. I mean, you had a story to tell that nobody else had, I think, on YouTube
Right.
that I knew of. Yeah. Yeah. You were such an experiencer. How do you feel like being a surgical nurse and being a chiropractor and now being working with the energy body and the angels and the extraterrestrials? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I would say I do integrating all those things. I take when I went to nursing school and practiced nursing, I worked in the surgical unit and did the operations and things, and I saw all the organs and touch, feel, whatever. I was experiencing all the organs. So medicine, we look at just that: what's hurting, what's bothering you, and we take care of that. We don't look at anything else around it. So when I went to chiropractic school, that opened my eyes to, okay, this nerve coming off your spine goes to this organ. So if there's a problem in your spine or a nerve, then it's going to affect this organ. So that opened up my eyes to, you don't just look at this organ or bone or whatever. You need to look at the cause, the root cause of the problem. And so after opening my eyes up to that, then the next step was eventually I was put with a girl that did energy work, and she taught me how to do it for 6 weeks. We had a 6-week crash course on that. And then I looked at the chakras and the aura. So I was putting it all together. So I had the medical, the chiropractic, and then the metaphysical, putting it all together. So I'm pretty much an integrative practitioner, but I call myself a starseed healer.
Wow, that's a lot. And you told me a story this morning too about when surgeries were going on, you could tell who was going to pass and who had given up.
Yeah, they called me the death angel because I knew when people were going to pass. Because I could tell when I would take somebody back in the operating room if they had given up on life. And that would then, if somebody had given up on life and were wanting to leave their body, I could tell. And there's nothing stopping it when they've made that decision.
Yeah. What would that look like? Could you see them leave the body or?
No, at that time, I didn't see their body. It was more of a feeling and a knowing. And I think I was also hearing a little bit of it also. But I could walk in a room and look at a person and just see it all over their face or body, just see it.
So I'm just going to bring in a little bit of the starseed stuff because that's what we do too, and that in the healing show. And the can you look at somebody walking down the street and think, I know some of your star origins?
I don't do that. I try
Yeah.
to conserve my energy. I don't put myself out there. I don't like being in crowds. Don't like being around a lot of people.
Yeah.
And to do what you're saying would mean me putting my energy out there to do that. And so whenever I'm out in public, I'm shut down. Shut
But,
down, connected.
but when somebody connects with you and asks you point blank,
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh my
oh yeah.
God,
I connect
yeah,
with somebody. Yes, I can tell them.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then let's see, let's talk more about the body and integrating, because I think that's what we're all here for, right? Integrating our entire body, soul, and mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the question?
I don't know. I think,
I wasn't expecting a pause to be there.
yeah. Well, it's such an important time on the planet to be here
Right.
and to bring all of that together. And you do it in a very interesting way with the Solaris Healing Center, but also what would you call your healing methods? I guess starseed healing.
Yeah, I put it as a blanketly starseed healing. Now, I learned a lot by going up on the spaceships. I've learned a lot of ways that we they do things and how important color therapy and the chakras, how important those things were because they're used all the time. I mean, that was like a routine thing that was done with surgery. But I started off removing implants and getting rid of negative entities. And then we would balance the chakras, and then we would give color therapy to calm the nervous system down so the body could heal itself. And eventually, I was doing brain surgery, which you and I discussed.
Yeah.
Both of us were doing it. About we put this halo on the head, and all these little things start crossing, little sparks coming up, and it's changing the brain waves. So there's a lot of things I learned on, and I was on the Astro Medical one at that time, and I've learned a lot of other things. And I was able to energetically bring that to Earth. Now, how I started, I would always, if I had a client, I would always have to go tell them, I would meet them and tell them that I would be doing it while they're sleeping, which is what is easier for me is to say, I will be doing these procedures while you're asleep. So it's going to be tonight or tomorrow night before this is going to occur. And that's how I would do it in the beginning. I can do some, I'm still more comfortable with them sleeping because they don't have that resistance, I would say, maybe.
Yeah. I can see that. I can imagine if I knew that you're going to be, well, I take that back. If you're not used to it, because I have a lot of, I'll often get Reiki and stuff like that while I'm conscious, and it's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a little bit different than
Yeah.
changing brain waves and
Yeah.
cleaning out chakras and taking out implants and negative entities. That's kind of different from just sending out energy because it would be, yeah.
Because do you feel like you're rewiring or reprogramming the soul then?
Yeah, or I'm reprogramming that 3D body,
Yeah.
not the soul.
Yeah. Do you feel like, okay, reprogramming the soul, this is interesting. We hadn't talked about this, but reprogramming the soul, do you feel like that's something that we're each here to do for ourselves?
Well, I don't think we are reprogramming the soul. I think we're reprogramming the body that the soul has inhabited.
Okay.
So I think the soul's coming in to experience these things.
Our connection to it.
Right. So, but that body has all these flaws. Our bodies have all these flaws, or these 3D bodies. I can't say that our soul has all these kind of flaws. They're just coming in and experiencing those flaws, and that's what we help with.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
Okay, weird questions because we're getting weird here.
Yeah, we are.
So if we haven't lost you already, I'm glad you're still here, you guys. But let's talk about our past selves and our future selves then.
Okay.
Can we reprogram that? Like the things that have happened and the things that will happen?
Well, again, we can change some of that, but you're still confusing the soul with the body.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it two different things. So this body that's here on this earth, you're future self and your your past self. That it's depending on what it wants to experience. So if it comes in and goes, okay, I want to experience this thing, this body getting healed, then we can take care of it and fix all those things. If that soul is supposed to experience those flaws, there's nothing we're going to do to be able to take care of it.
That makes sense. Okay, they are bringing in frequencies from always comes in through the left ear. Then it went way over the right ear when you were talking about that. Now it's going back out the left ear.
It's going, ooh, how am I going to process that?
You got to think with your right brain, girl. And then it goes back to the left.
This information is just coming to me right now. This is not something I already knew.
Yeah, this is nothing we talked about. And I'm just throwing it out there because it popped in. Let's talk about the Solaris Healing Center.
Okay.
And because I think that is, I don't know anybody else that's doing that. And it's my honor to work with you on that. I have loved it and it's amazing. Can you tell people what that's about?
Yeah, well, because I work with the extraterrestrials and the angels. The Solaris Healing Center, I found out about it because the extraterrestrial that taught me how to fly a spaceship was from the Solaris star. And one day he decided to take me to his star so I could meet his people. They were all gold beings. And on that star was a healing center. So he took me up to see that healing center. When I walked in, I was just in awe because it was all these angels and our spirit animals, and even Jesus is sitting there on the table. All these people were getting these healings in there. You walk in and you're immediately in a blue healing light. And then there's a main room with a table in it and some side rooms with tables in it. But very few of the people got on the tables. Everybody was actually getting their healing from the blue healing light, which calmed the nervous system down and let their own body heal itself. Then they told me one day that they would allow me to bring that to Earth on a show and do an hour of healing with people with that blue healing light. So that's how the Solaris Healing Center was created. I was honored that first off, I was honored being in there. I just stood against the wall and watched because I was like, I was in such presence of greatness that I was like, oh, I was a little uncomfortable that I didn't know what to do. And so I stayed against the wall. I mean, I was like slithering around the wall. And then when they said I could bring it to Earth, then that's how it happened. You know, I don't even remember my first show that I did on that, but I just remember how honored I was that they allowed me to do it.
And you have an assistant there as well.
I have an assistant, and he came probably a few months later after I was started the Solaris Healing Center. His name he calls himself Medical Mike. He is a gray human hybrid mix, and he wanted to learn to work on humans. So he came to me and helps me with the healing sessions.
And can you speak to the med beds and describe those?
The med beds, I don't use those med beds. Those are more, I feel like more Palladian energy.
Oh, okay.
I don't do as much with the Palladians. The beds that I used were actually almost like whirlpools or tanks that we put people in to redo their bodies.
That's what I always see too.
Yeah. So those were more regenerating the whole body or injury, that was regenerating it. The med beds, I know we all have access to them energetically, and we can go up and ask to go to a Palladian spaceship and ask to get into the med beds. But that's, it seems like to me, what I do is a lot more difficult or technical maybe than what the med beds are.
Yeah, it feels like it's a different frequency completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, both healing, but yeah, completely
Yeah,
different.
they're just as good as the other. It just seems like mine's different. And mine comes more, I would say, Arcturian energy, and it's also the hybrid energies. But those med beds, I always associate those with the Palladians.
Interesting. Yeah. That makes so much sense. Um, is there anything else that you want to talk about the healing and how you heal? And
Actually, you asked me what questions than I was ever expecting. And I'll say everybody that I'm so used to talking about extraterrestrials, and it's easy for me to talk about that. This was the first time I talked about my healing and my healing abilities. And I was telling Teri how that was making me a little uncomfortable because I usually don't talk about that.
yeah, yeah, it's funny. We don't talk a lot about that. We talk a lot about extraterrestrials and whatnot, but um, the healing center, it's an interesting thing when people come to the Solaris Healing Center,
Mhm.
because sometimes it is an emotional healing as well, I feel
Oh,
like, for many people. Yeah,
right. It is. And also, it's the same representation. Like everybody who comes there is getting a healing, like the blue light's there. And we're only able to get to a few people and put them on the table and take care of them individually. It's exactly the same as the Solaris Healing Center. But everybody who's there is getting a healing. It's just that we have to give some people a little more extra attention. But I would say most of my work has a lot to do with the emotional side of it because of so much that traumas and things people have create a large emotional side to it.
yeah. Um, I feel like that's always that dis-ease is always something that brings about physical things in our bodies.
Right.
So, yeah, yeah. Well, this has been highly interesting. So, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And please like and subscribe to our new channel, Galactic Gaia, because we're trying to get the numbers up so that y'all can come by and find out who you like and who you resonate with on the healings. And we've got a bunch of big people coming in and a bunch of people that are brand new that are amazing. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks, and we'll see you later.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.